Namaste. Today I'm talking to my higher self. I was actually sitting down and looking at my life, something that I always say we should do. What is it that we do? We just sit back and watch the life, whatever is going on around here. Namaste. Every once in a while, when we stop life, totally stopping life, and we just sit back, and we just become the observer of life, whatever is going on here. Have you ever done this, guys? Have you ever stopped life and you thought to yourself that I don't need to engage in life. I don't need to become a part of life. What do you think will happen? Does it seem really scary? What happens if we stop life totally and just sit and watch the whole thing? I was doing this right now. I allow myself to just sit back and look at my life as a movie. I looked back at my childhood. When I was a kid, what was going on? How was I going through my journey? What was I doing? How was I feeling? And is there a time when I made a decision? When was I in charge of my life? Did you ever think about that? Oftentimes, you and I think we are the one who's making life happen. And I need to often remind myself that something else outside of me is orchestrating the life day after day after day. So I looked back, I looked at the story, and I thought, when I left my country, was I the one who made that decision? When I went to university, was I the one who made that decision? Who is making all of these decisions? And if at times I would plan on doing something, was I always able or capable of doing it? And if at some times or some events I wanted to stop something from happening, was it possible? Did I have that power to stop an event from happening? And then I think, no, I wasn't. I am not the one who's actually making life happen. Something else is in charge. Who is the one who is in charge? Who is the one who's making the decision? Where is my life story coming from? Where's my life story coming from? Did I write this story? Was I the one who wrote the script? I don't know. What do you think, guys? Do you think you're the one who's in charge? Do you think you are the one who's writing the story? Do you think that we have free will? Do we have free will? What do you think, guys? When I look at my life and I ask myself, did I always do the right thing? Did I always make the right decision? Did I always create and manifested whatever is showing up in my life? And then I realized that although I might think that I am the one who is making my reality, but oops, I think something else is involved there. So what happens? Do we have free will or we don't? Who is running the show? At this moment in my life, when I look back at my journey, I kind of think that I wasn't the one who was making all these decisions, even though I thought I am the one who's doing it. And if that's the case, do I have any regret about anything that happened till now? Do I have any regret? If I wasn't the one who was in charge, if I wasn't the one who was making the decision, then why should I have any regrets? And even though I say, yes, I am the one who's making all these decisions, and I have some regrets, how am I sure that if I would make a different decision, that would be better? How would I know? Because the outcome is not clear, right? So in order for me to experience life to the fullest, what I do is I surrender to everything that's showing up. My day starts with a short meditation, walking outside in the yard, and just be quiet, just be still. And in that stillness, a lot of things are happening. And I see that just by looking at the sky, things are moving around. The wind, the stars, the moon, the darkness turns into light. And that should tell me that whether I'm here or not, life is happening. Then afterwards, I might hear some things like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But then again, even the thoughts of being active or doing something, where did that come from? The ideas or the thought, is it mine or is it coming from somewhere else? I want you to sit in this. Pay attention. Open your eyes and say, what is going on here? What's happening around me? So what I would like you guys to do at this moment is to kind of make the right mix or the balance of what you want to do, what you think is the right thing to do, and you think this is the right decision that I should make. What if we learn to mix that, combine that with being surrender? How can I mix my thoughts, my to-do list with being surrender. I think oftentimes when we get confused is basically because I think that I am alone on this decision. I'm alone on making things happen. But once I realize, although physically I'm the one who is doing these things, but there is also a divine plan. And I often think, when I think about something, when I get an idea, the idea or the urge, hello Marol, I was hoping you won't see me or you won't find me. So when an idea comes to me, when the motivation shows up, when I'm excited, when I'm passionate, when I'm doing something, even the thought, the idea, the passion, the me feeling the energy and the juice that's starting to show up, that is also divine plan. Can you hear that? So, what if we mix these two together? What every idea that comes to us, instead of letting it be analyzed by the mind, by the thinking machine, we stop and we cut out from the mind and we just say, oh, this is a divine plan. So what I'm going to do right now, because this is a divine plan, I'm not going to think about it. Is this the right thing to do or is it the wrong thing to do? Because eventually there is no right or wrong doing. Every path that we enter, anything that we do, is just an experience. So can we allow ourselves to just trust that whatever comes, whatever urge shows up here, we just go with it? Hello, Coach Vancouver. Welcome. Welcome, Nusha. Welcome, everybody. Right? So, when I was sitting here and looking at my journey, I noticed that I never plan things. Although it seems like I was making a plan, but then again, I wasn't. Because whatever showed up, whatever idea I picked up or whatever I heard or whatever was showing up here, I took that and I just moved with it. And now what I'm trying to tell you is, imagine if you could cut off from the thinking machine and whatever showed up here, we look at it as a divine plan. So, Nahid, that's a good question. If the life is happening, what is our role on planet Earth? That's a very good question. Life is happening, right? We are the actors who is playing in life. Life is a huge screen. Life is happening, right? the day turns into night, and then it turns into day and afternoon, and then the seasons change and everything. We don't have any control over that. That is just happening. My role is, if an idea or something shows up, I take that and I go with it. That means you are actually active. You're doing something. Let's suppose, like you hear that today you should go to nature. The nature is already there, right? But by you going out and walking into the nature, you are acting out in the universal movie. So we are still doing things. The only difference here is that now I'm not passing this through my mind. Because once I start passing this to my mind, then it's going to come up with other stuff. Oh, I'm tired. Is the weather okay? It looks like it's cloudy. It looks like it's going to rain. Blah, 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 blah. Right? That's the mind. So what I'm saying is, when you hear that you should go to the nature, to go to the nature is the divine plan. To not allowing your mind to get involved and maybe change your mind or come up with all these excuses, that's the mind. So all I'm saying is to cut out the part of the thinking machine. Don't listen to the thoughts. Samira says, I was just thinking about Sudi, and here her life shows up. There you go. That's the whole manifestation. So are you guys with me? All I'm saying is, I realized that my life and my journey wasn't planned by me. Although I might think that I made all those decisions, but there is a divine plan who is acting out in my journey, right? So what is my journey about? The journey is about lessons. We all know that we call this the earth plane. We call it earth schooling. Earth schooling, right? So earth is a school. That means now that I know planet Earth is a school, every single morning when I wake up, I have two choices. Either I can start listening to the mind and I can go that way, or I can separate myself from the mind and I just go with whatever it shows up. Is it my intuition? Shall we call it intuition? Shall we call it hearing the higher self? Shall we call it the universe or divine plan is guiding me? That's all I'm saying. So now what I want you to do is to start doing 1 second, move to the next second, and move to the next second, right? Even though you have your whole day figured out, even though you're very organized and the night before, you have written everything that's, you wrote it down. I'm going to do this and that and that and that, right? So what I'm saying right now, at every minute, be fully here in this minute, right? So what is your first task? Let's say your first task is to make coffee. You make your coffee. while you're making your coffee, make that a meditation. Be fully present in this minute as you're making the coffee. Don't let your mind rush you through that. Don't let your mind look at the time, look at the clock and hurry up. Don't let your mind rush you throughout the day. Because if you allow the mind rush you, you're going to get stressed out. So the practice is, I'm making my coffee. I don't need to do multitasking. As I'm making my coffee, I'm fully here. Anytime my mind said, well, you could wash the dishes now, or you could do this or that, tame the mind and say, no, I'm just going to be making coffee right now. Thank you, Mother, for buying batch. Okay, so I'm making the coffee. I'm taming the mind not to rush me, not to push me throughout the day. And I sit down and I enjoy my coffee. I like, every morning, I like to go outside. I like to get fresh air. And as I'm sipping my coffee, the first coffee in the morning, what happens is I am reminding myself how great it is to have every sip of coffee. I wake up very early. It's 3:30 or 4 a.m. So obviously outside is dark, but I can see everything that's happening. I can see the energy of the day. I see the moving of the stars. I see the moving of the moon is moving, the stars are moving, and I'm in awe of everything that's happening. And that shows me the expansion of universe, how big it is, right? But I don't let my mind rush me through that first cup of coffee. Samira, thank you for buying badges. Thank you, lovey. Okay. So now, after I finish my coffee, I got some fresh air and I'm just connected. And I just say, I am surrendering whatever has to show up. Divine plan, show me and tell me, make me aware of what I need to do. So then I come in and then I start with my day, right? So I'm going throughout my day. I have a lot of tasks to do. I'm doing all those tasks and I'm very fast and quick. But I want you to understand that I am not stressed out. We have to separate these two from one another. I can work fast. I can be efficient. I can be super productive, but I'm not stressed out. Do you hear me, guys? You separate this thing because inside of me is very calm and very peaceful. So I'm coming from this peaceful, calm place. It's from within me that I'm connected to that. And I know the universe is protecting me. So inside is warm, is fuzzy, it feels good. Inside is silent, nice. I'm coming from there. But in the outside, I'm talking to the kids, we're doing this, I listen to the voices around all of this thing. The act of outside is busy, fast. It might even come to someone chaotic. But my inside place is nice and fuzzy. I'm practicing these days. Good for you, Samira Jo. Good for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So basically, if you can learn to separate these two from one another, if you find that inner place that is always still, always quiet, it's protection, it's warm, is the loving feeling of the universe that I'm protected, I'm never alone. If you find that place and you know that's the real place. Why? Because what is always still, permanent, never changes is the inner world. What is always changing, changing place, changing format, is the outside. It's not real. So the only truth, the only real place that you and I have to reach and be is the inner world. That never changes. Once I gained that knowledge and I find the way within, I never lost the truth. I never lost my passion. I never felt lonely. I was never fearful because inside is solid, right? And I give you an example because I remember something. A couple of days ago, somebody said to me, he's kind of felt that he has authority. And this guy said to me, D. And I looked in his eyes very deeply. I was coming from inside of me. Very deeply and very silently. And then as he said that, I was just looking, and I very calmly, I said, did that ever happen before? He got nervous. He's an American older gentleman. He got nervous, and my calmness, my inner peace, the inner strength scared him. And he got kind of nervous and he said, listen, I don't mean to be mean or anything. And I still looked him deeply in the eyes. No response, no answer. And I said, done. The next day, he was running after me to say, I'm sorry what I said yesterday. Don't worry about it. We're not going to do that. Do you understand me, guys? That's the inner power. It's so powerful that once you learn to come from there, everyone will just bow in front of you. And sometimes you understand, like I said to you guys, when you come from within that power, you don't even have to use any word. You can be purely silence and everything else calm down. The animal calm down, the people around you calm down. So, going back to what I was saying, I want you to find that inner peace, that power, that silence, and I want you to hold on to this, know that this is the true place, and then from outside, And then from the outside, what happens is you do your tasks. Layla, thank you for buying badges. Thank you, Lavi. Layla 55. 55 is the change. So, what we're doing right now, we hold on to this inner peace, never changing, always there. Hi, Sherwin, welcome, Lavi. We find this place, we hold on to it, and then we do our activities outside. When we do our activities outside, we don't let our mind to rush us. We don't let our mind to say, oh, you're losing time, or da-da-da-da. Don't allow the mind to push you. Basically, don't allow the mind to control your day, to control your life. That beast, thank you, Layla, for buying magic. That beast needs to be tamed. When I'm telling you guys about the beast, I'm talking about the mind and I'm talking about the ego. So we want to tame this beast to sit silence. The way we do it is by keep on ignoring whatever is saying. If you ignore everything that beast, the mind, the ego is saying, if you keep ignoring it, don't just listen to it. Come back to your peace. The mind, we know now, scientifically, every mind makes 75,000 to 95,000 thoughts per day. Imagine that, guys. 75,000 to 95,000 is this every second. Why is the weather like this? Why do I have a stomachache? Did I forget to take my pills? What happened to my mother? Should I go to work? What is the weather? That's how the mind works. So, the lesson is you just ignore that. You just push it away. Don't pay any attention to it. And then come back to this peace inside. Just come back, tell the mind, shut the F up, and then come back to this peace. But you're still doing your task. You're making your food, you're going for a walk, you're doing whatever you have to do. Just let the mind do its thing, and you focus on this moment and be fully present in this moment. So the task is, when you keep on quieting down the mind or ignoring the mind, you come to this peace. You come to this quiet space. Now from here, another voice will show up. That other voice doesn't mean you're crazy. That other voice is when you're hearing the divine. Is that intuition, is the first nudge that shows up, right? You listen to that, you know and trust that's the divine guiding you, talking to you, and that divine is also residing inside of you. So when the divine is residing inside of you, what are you worried about? Why would you think the divine will mislead you? Are you with me? The divine knows. Trust that the divine has planned everything from before. So the inside, the inner GPS is telling you, start this webinar. Or how about if you do this thing on the site? You take that. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, Divine. Thank you so much. Let me pin this. Support is coming. Thank you, Divine. And then knowing that the divine and the energy of the divine, Mary, thank you for buying badges, it's with you. Now, imagine the energy that you're carrying on to do that thing. Do you see what I'm saying? Oh, there is this movie on Netflix about Alexander. I don't know if you watched it or not. It's a long series. It made us, because I am Persian, and I always had an issue. Why are we calling ourselves Iranian? We are Persians. And I'm sticking to it from now on. I'm just going to say, I am Persian. That's our background. We have to be proud of that. Anyway, so what happened with, in this Alexander story, as you all know, Persia used to be one of the biggest empires, right? And Alexander came from the Greek part, which was a very tiny place. Now listen to me, because I want you to hold this with you and realize how important that is. What happens with Alexander? They killed the king, that was his father, which was the plan of his mother, because the king, Alexander's father, got married to a younger girl, and Alexander's mother was worried that if this young woman have another kid and be a boy, Alexander, which is her son, will lose the position of becoming the next king, right? So Alexander's mother pays off or does something to kill the king, and Alexander at age 20, he becomes the king. So the story is that the mother takes Alexander into this spiritual place and giving some psychedelics. And as Alexander drinks this, he suddenly goes into a state of hallucination. And then the mother, he sees himself walking with the mother, and the mother said to him, he says, look, that was not your father. Your real father is Jesus something, some god of that time, of the Greek god, one of the biggest god. I don't remember his name, but you can correct me. So what happens there? Alexander thinks that his father is the God. And the mother said, you are the son of that God, and that God resides within you. Anything that you do, Alexander, is going to be success. You're going to conquer the whole Persia, doesn't matter how big it is, and it's the biggest empire of the time. You're going to conquer that and more. So this is what I want you to take from this story, lovely people, is that if you believe in something, the size, how many hectares is it, how many years, how many experience, how much armies and soldiers somebody have. If you really believe you are God, and you have that energy of God reside within you, with that, you cannot go wrong. Are you with me, everybody? Say yes if you get me. So basically what I'm saying is, this is where I'm coming from. I feel that divine is within me. I am one with the divine. So if the divine reside within me and we are one, then any idea that comes to me is from the divine plan. I'm not the doer. The divine plan is behind it. Right? So if the divine is doing it, I am just the instrument. I'm just acting out in the movie. So it's just like, this is the movie, and I get hired by the divine to play this role and do this thing. I might make a building, I might do whatever, but it's not me who is doing it, it's the divine doing this through me. Got that, lovely people? Okay. So I just wanted to be clear here for you to get it. There is nothing that you could do wrong. When you start listening to your mind, this calculated mind is going to give you all these things. This is right and this is wrong. This is right and this is wrong. So this judgment of right and wrong is only in the mind. All I'm saying, bypass the mind and then go with what shows up. Listen to your feeling. Do you know our body gives us hundreds of information at every second, right? So at every second, my body is giving me blah, 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 information. Just by listening to the body, you know what to do. Just listen to your body and say, body, how does this feel? Body, how does this feel? And see how it feels. Start to know yourself, know thyself by knowing your body. Become one. All we have to do at the end to just go through the 4 planes, have them all together, spiritual body, mental body, emotional body, physical body. Have this whole layer work together. And if you start from top, which is the spiritual body, when you're going through spiritual body, I am one with God, I am one with the divine. That's all you need to do. The rest, the mental body, emotional body, physical body, all of that just comes into the flow. So all I'm asking you guys to do is know that you are not the one who's making the decision. There's a divine plan, right? Like I said at the beginning of this life, when I sit back and I look at my life journey, I did so many things, God, so many things. And when I think about that, when did I make any decision? And I realized that, seriously, guys, I didn't make any decision. And in my youth, a lot of people told me I was so airy, I was living in a bubble, they didn't know how I survived, right? Because they were coming from their mind. They couldn't understand how can somebody be so different, moi, to be mindless. I was mindless. Because I didn't, although all this conversation of the mind was going around, I was still at the other side. Something else was guiding me, and I trusted that so much that I did this step, and then I took the next step, and then I took the next step. But the difference is, guys, I never felt alone or lonely in my life. Never. Most of you guys who know me, you know that I have been living a single life and I'm still single. Nobody wants me, right? But I never ever felt lonely. Why? Because how could I? When I feel the divine, when I feel that loving, warm, fuzzy feeling of the divine, whatever we want to call it, with me, inside of me, how could I feel lonely? Are you with me? Say yes. Are you with me, yes or no? Come on, people, wake up. So, loneliness, suffering starts from the minute you separate yourself from the divine. Thank you for yeses. Thank you. You hear me? All of our suffering, loneliness, confusion start from the minute I separate myself from the divine. If you're not separated, you never feel wrong. You never feel alone. So, is the mind that telling me, oh, there is so much regrets. I shouldn't have done that. If I would have done that instead of doing this, if I would do this, I would not do this. So much confusion and so much regrets. But I feel good. I feel good not because anything that's going on outside. I just feel good. And I want you to know, like I said, again, I'm just going to say this last thing and I'm going to leave because I don't know why I'm doing this live, guys. Something told me to go sit down and to go live. Was it me? No. Because if it was me, if I would have been listening to my mind would have said, let it go. You did a live this morning. Oh, you haven't done anything on this page. Just let it go. No, something told me, go and do this. And I said, I will. I listen. Okay, so going back to knowing what is always consistent, what is always there, never changes, is the inner world. That's the truth. Silent, permanent, consistent, never changes, never starts, never ends, always there. That's your inner world, right? The outer world is what? The outer world is always changing. Feelings comes and goes. Some days you feel good, some days you feel bad. Few minutes, look at yourself throughout the day. You feel good, you feel bad, you stress out, you're okay, you calm yourself down, you get stressed out, you get depressed, you're happy, you're unhappy, you're sad. Listen to your thoughts. You have happy thoughts, you have bad thoughts, you have depressing thoughts, you feel like whatever, right? So the mind, the thoughts are constantly changing. But here is silence. The feeling comes and goes. Here is silence. On the outside, things are, there's war, there's this, there's that, there's that. Here is silence. Always there. This is the truth. The inner world that never changes. Outer world constantly change. So what do you want to believe? Something that constantly changes, comes and goes, or do you want something that's permanent, warm, loving, light? Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for all of you who bought badges. I don't know what the next step is going to be till I get guided to do something. I will. Love you all. See you whenever, whatever, whenever. Thank you. Bye-bye.